Welcome to another session of Free Mind Thinkers. I'm your man, Big Brother Tucker, and as usual, a lot's been going on, so let's get right into it. The overturning of Roe v. Wade. I made a video a little while back about the leaked opinion, which normally becomes a final decision within the Supreme Court. Well, the opinion became a final decision. That decision that the Supreme Court recently made was to overturn Roe v. Wade on a federal level and simply give the power of abortion laws back to the individual states. Justice Samuel Alito said that in 1973, Roe ruling and repeated subsequent high court decisions reaffirming Roe must be overruled because they were egregiously wrong. The arguments exceptionally weak and so damaging that they amounted to an abuse of judicial authority. So here's what I'm going to say about it. I've told you before, I have been a person who has stood by and allowed, even supported abortions to happen, been supporters of those that have done it. And as I grew older and life took me down various paths, opened my eyes to various things, I changed. My opinion and thoughts on that had changed. Let's start by addressing exactly what the overturning means. One of the first things that's just ass wrong is that people nationwide, and when I say people, let me take that back. The first thing that's being wrongly put out there is that the government has banned abortions. They are dictating what a woman can do with her body. Blah, blah, blah. The simple answer to that is no. They have not banned abortions. What they have done is left the states to decide whether abortions are for that state's citizenry, which makes local and state elections far more important, which is what they should have been in the first place. The federal government's reach, y'all, should really be limited. Your state and your local government, your city and state government are the laws and rulings that should have more of an impact, an immediate impact on your day-to-day life than the federal government, which means there are states that are going to outright ban abortion, I'm sure. There are states that already have term limits on abortion, and then there are going to be states that are going to allow you to abort literally whenever. You can go back, find and research different politicians that have said without saying it, but agreeing with it, that you can terminate on the day of birth. And I'm sure there are going to be states like that. I'm looking at you, California. So the first bullshit line of the federal government that they are banning abortion is a lie. Check this out. If you remember when the initial leak came out, it said in that opinion that we hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives, which translates into the states. So that's why I say, no, dumbasses, they are not removing your ability to get an abortion. They are not banning abortions on every level, just in certain locations. And if you don't like that, I would simply suggest you move, because believe it or not, each state is run differently. That's why there are states that have state taxes. Some states do not have state taxes. Gun laws and restrictions are more stringent in some states than they are in other states. The degree of assaults are higher in some states and lower in others. See, every state already has its own laws and rules set up. This is just going to be another law and rule for whatever state you live in. And if you want to live in a state that would allow you to kill a baby, then move. If the state you are living in is going to outright ban it or restrict it to a point where you don't like it, tear your ass. It's like a job. If you don't like your job, quit. Go somewhere else. If you don't like the laws that your state has set up, leave. Tear your ass. That's it. Now, the other thing that I want to address is this garbage ass line, the dumbass argument that is being made of, well, it's our constitutional right. No, 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 it is not. It is not a constitutional right to kill what is alive inside of you. That is not a constitutional right. People point to the 14th Amendment as giving them the constitutional right to kill the unborn child. Let's look at the 14th Amendment and exactly what it says. It says, the 14th Amendment, Section 1, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of that state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. In case you're wondering what that means, that means no state can treat you as if you are not a citizen of the United States. No state can take away any privileges that you may be granted, any rights that you have as being a citizen of the United States. To break that down even more, that is why that they also recently struck down very restrictive gun laws, because those states were trying to override a right that is granted to you as a citizen of the United States. That means no state can tell you to shut the fuck up. Freedom of speech. You see, there are certain inalienable rights that you are granted that no state can take away. Abortion is not one of those rights. I will continue reading. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So let's try that one more time, okay? Because what we're talking about is abortion. That's what we're talking about here. They're saying the 14th Amendment guarantees them abortion, when actually the 14th Amendment, from my interpretation, from what I'm reading, would actually work against you, because it says, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. So if no state shall deprive a person of life, doesn't that mean by the 14th Amendment every state should ban abortion? Because when you are aborting a child, you are killing something with a heartbeat. So by the 14th Amendment, dumbasses, you're actually wrecking your own damn case. So no, it is not a constitutional right. It is simply saying that if you go to any state, we cannot treat you like you are a non-American. But subsequently, you still have to abide by the laws of that state, which is why the Supreme Court said that the Roe v. Wade was just simply wrong. This should be a state issue. I bet a whole bunch of you people want to get more involved in your local elections now, don't you? Yeah, I thought so. The other argument that pisses me smooth the fuck off is this is a woman's health issue. Really, bitch? No, it ain't. It's a selfish issue. So when they say that it's a woman's health issue, the stats don't bear that out. In a 2004 statistic, well, in a 2004 graph, the Guttmacher Institute anonymously surveyed 1,209 post-abortive women from 9 different abortion clinics across the country. Of women surveyed, 957 provided a main reason for having an abortion. This table lists each reason and the percentage of respondents who chose it. Now they say health issues. That's what they say. This is about a woman's health. Abortion is about a woman's health. And my other favorite, well, we're going to tell all the women that are raped that they have to have the rapist child. That's what Roe versus Wade overturning means. Every woman that gets raped now has to have their rapist child. Health issues and rape victims. Those are their two standards. That's the two flags that they fly under. Victim of rape, less than 0.5%. Less than 1% of women had an abortion for that reason. 3% had it for the fetal health problems. 4% physical health problem. Now here's where we get into what I said. Selfish fucking reasons. 4% would interfere with education or career. 7% not mature enough to raise a child. 8% don't want to be a single mother. 19% done having children. 23% can't afford a baby. 25% not ready for a child. 6% other. So I'm going to add the victim of rape, the fetal health problems, and physical health problems. That only makes 7.5% of why abortions are being had. 7.5. And I'm giving it the 0.5 because as you can see in the graph, it says less than 0.5. So I'm going to give you the 0.5. 7.5 are health reasons, which means 92.5% are all because you are selfish motherfuckers. I'm not ready for a child. Don't have sex. There are so many options as to not having a child. You can abstain, which is number one. Number two, you can use protection. You know, men have condoms, women have diaphragms, they have birth control pills. Hell, even the Plan B pill is an option now. There are a million ways for a woman not to get pregnant. Here's the problem, and here is why Roe v. Wade had to be overturned. It's because a lot of you lazy bitches were using abortion as birth control. I'll prove that in just a second. But some people out there may be saying, well, Tucker, that's a 2004 stat. Come on, Tucker, you can do better than that. Okay, you're right. That is a 2004 stat. So let's find another one, shall we? Something a little bit more recent. Let's take a statistic from the state of Florida. That's a pretty good sample size. Florida has a diverse community. So that's to me, that's a reasonable size. That's a reasonable good sample size. The state of Florida records a reason for every abortion that occurs within its borders each year. In 2020, there were 74,868 abortions in Florida. Now, that's 74,000 abortions in Florida alone. Hell, the 2004 graph that I talked about earlier only had 1,200. So this is more than a fair sample size. Let's read on. This lists each reason and the percentage of abortions that occurred because of it. Pregnancy resulting from incestuous relationship, 0.01. Well, you selfish hoes, there goes that one. Women that were raped, it upped in 2020, at least in the state of Florida. Now it's 0.15 instead of being 0.05. So far, for two of the reasons that y'all like to say that we should have this, abortion should be kept around for health reasons, and for those women that get raped and don't want to keep the kid, I have a 0.01 and a 0.15. Combined 0.16. Do you understand the hell that we would be in if they made federal laws for 0.16 of a fucking population? I gotta work on my language, y'all. Forgive me. I'm asking y'all to forgive me. But sometimes I get these topics and I hear these dumbasses speak and it just runs me hot to the highest levels of festivity. It makes no sense. The arguments y'all are making are bullshit and you know it. You're screaming because that's another rant. I'll get into that rant later. Let me finish reading the chart. Women's lives endangered by the pregnancy, 0.20%. Women's physical health threatened by pregnancy, 1.48%. There was a serious fetal abnormality, something wrong with the child in the room, 0.98%. The woman's psychological health was threatened by the pregnancy, 0.18%. Those are all your health reasons. Now then, let me whip out the old calculator here. Let me see. I'm not the smartest cat in the world, so let me do a little math here. If I do a 0.01, I do a little add right there. I do a 0.15, then I do a 0.20, then I do a 0.98, and let me see. I do a 1.48, and then a 1.88. Those are all the health reasons listed. And when I do the math, I come up with a whopping 4.7% of the 74,000 abortions happening in Florida in 2020 were actual health reasons. 20.4%, the woman aborted for social or economic reasons. And 74.9%, no reason. In parentheses, they say elective, because they wanted to. I'm not saying from 2004 stats to 2020 stats, I'm not seeing this big ass health risk that y'all are talking about. What's this health? Y'all said it's health, rape, incest. Where the fuck is it? I ain't seeing it. Help me out. I want to be on your team. I was on your team when I was a young dummy. So help me out. Persuade me. Oh, but you can't. You simply cannot. Because the numbers, the science that a lot of y'all believed in as to why we should wear masks, the science here tells us y'all just getting abortions as a form of contraception. Nah, that's no good. That's going to do it for this segment of Free Mind Thinkers. If you like what you heard, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to hear more of it, go ahead and hit that subscribe while you're at it. And please feel free to comment on anything that you hear. And as we always say here at Free Mind Thinkers, listen less, learn more. Don't forget that you can find us on all your social media platforms: Getter, Gab, Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute. And we are podcasts on several media platforms. Make sure you check out full episodes there in the podcast section or wherever you may get your favorite podcasts. Until the next time, y'all stay up.